Starting your career today feels like being dropped in the middle of a storm without a map. And we all know how it's very difficult to navigate a storm when it starts. One minute you're hopeful about the future, and the next you're being hit with the massive news about layoffs, AI taking jobs, and the industries changing so faster than you can even prepare for. So if you're just starting out, maybe out of college, or you're just trying to navigate or change a career, know that it is normal to feel very overwhelmed. There is this heavy pressure that you need to figure things out fast. You get the perfect job and to somehow make it when the rules keep changing underneath you so fast. And you might find yourself asking yourself questions like, how do I even make it? Or how do I even build a career in a world that feels so unstable? You might also be asking, am I already behind everyone else? Or even, what if I pick the wrong path? Career anxiety is real. And it's not just you, it's a rising silent epidemic, especially among young adults that are trying to navigate a workforce that look like nothing that we were promised. And honestly, most of the people were not taught how to create security for themselves. We were told to pick a major, land a job, and the rest will work itself out. That advice doesn't hold up anymore. So if you're feeling anxious, stuck, lost, or feeling, or even a little embarrassed that you're here to figure everything out, I want you to know that you are not behind. You're just early to the reality that most people are still trying to ignore. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I would do if I was starting my career over in 2025. Not based on what sounds good, but based on what actually works in today's chaotic world. We'll talk about building future-proof skills, creating real options for yourself, protecting your mental health, and how to position yourself so that you never feel this helpless again, feeling like you're falling behind, and start building a career that is actually yours, not just what the system expects of you. Then stick around because what I'm about to share could save you years of confusion, regret, and wasted energy. Let's get into it. You know, one of the biggest lies we were taught growing up was this idea that success meant getting a fancy job title at a big company, climbing some invisible corporate ladder, and then happily ever after. But here is the thing nobody tells you. That ladder, it's broken, and truthfully it might not even exist anymore. So today, if you're chasing job titles instead of building real skills, you're setting yourself up for a lot of unnecessary pain. I was scrolling through TikTok the other day and I came across this girl, Bridget Vaughn. She was open about how she thought she had her life all figured out, full-time job, steady paycheck, doing everything right. But after a sudden breakup, everything in her life cracked wide open. She started posting videos about it just to vent and stay insane, and guess what? That raw, honest content ended up building her a career she never even planned for. And today she is not chasing titles. She built her own lane. And she's not the only one. Over on Reddit, there are thousands of people talking about resetting their careers, not chasing big job titles, but focusing on building portable skills, communication, creativity, emotional resilience, skills you can take anywhere. And really, this is the skills you have to make if you want to survive and actually thrive today. So instead of asking yourself, what's the biggest job title I can get? Start asking yourself, what skills am I developing that will always be valuable? Am I growing more adaptable or just getting better at playing a role someone else has created for me? Because titles can be taken away overnight, and we have seen it. Companies go bankrupt, industries collapse, AI reshapes entire job markets, but real skills, skills that you have sharpened, invested in, and owned, those are yours forever. So if you're just starting out or you're feeling stuck or feeling unsure about your future, hear me on this. Your new definition of success isn't about impressing recruiters with fancy job titles. It's about making yourself so adaptable, so skilled, so valuable that you can create opportunities no matter what is happening in the world around you. And that shift in your mindset, that's the real starting point for building a career that is actually stable, meaningful, and truly yours. All right, let's get in for a second. Most people today are working a career tiptoe without even realizing it. They are balancing everything they have on one paycheck from one employer in one industry, and the moment something changes, let's say a layoff, a merger, a reception, it's like the whole rug gets pulled out of from under you. So if I had to reset my career today, one of the first things I would build before worrying about climbing any ladder is building my career safety net. A safety net means having something else under you, like a backup plan, a second income stream, a set of connections or skills that can catch you if your main plan fails. Let me tell you about Alex, someone I came across on Twitter recently. He got laid off from a major tech company during the first wave of AI-related cuts. But because he has been freelancing quietly on the side, offering copyright services on the side through LinkedIn DMs and Upwork, he wasn't panicking when the pink slip came. And within few weeks, he scaled up his freelance work into a full-time job. There was no scrambling and there was no desperation, just a smooth pivot because he already had his safety net in place. So if you're watching this and you're feeling a little nervous about where your paycheck is actually coming from, here's exactly what I would do to build my safety net if I were starting over today. You don't need to broadcast it to the world. You don't even need to quit your job. You just need to start quietly building something that is your own. Offer a service you're good at, maybe writing, editing, coaching, tutoring, or designing. Sell simple products online. This might sound easier said than done, but it works. So sell simple products online, printables, templates, ebooks, wherever you're good at, and go on to build a portfolio or proof of concept without pressure. Even if it's just earning $200 per month at first. That's 200 of independence. That's $200 of saying, I'm not entirely dependent on someone else to survive. And your network is part of your safety net as well. Opportunities rarely come from strangers. They come from people who know you, people who like you, and people who trust you. I saw someone on Reddit talk about how they were about to get laid off, but because they had kept good relationships with past co-workers, someone referred them internally to a new role before they were even officially let go. So to build your relationships, to build your network, reach out to one or two people weekly, check in with them, offer your help, and build goodwill without expecting anything in return. So you have to stay visible but genuine. And I know savings feels impossible sometimes, even for myself, especially early in your career. But even $50, $20 that is moved into separate account every month automatically builds breathing room. Know that money in the bank gives you time and time gives you choices. So if you're starting out right now, don't just focus on getting the job. Focus on building your foundation underneath it. A foundation of skills, a foundation of relationships and connections, a foundation of options. Because when the storm hits, as they usually do, you won't just survive, you stand taller than ever. So if I lost everything today, my job, my network, my resume, and had to start from absolute scratch in 2025, I know exactly what I'll do differently. And honestly, I think this framework will save a lot of people years of pain, confusion, and frustration. So instead of chasing job titles or running after companies, I will focus on 4 things that actually build real lasting career safety, and it serves with the first most important move. The very first thing I will do is to stop worrying about job titles altogether. Seriously, titles today don't protect you. They don't guarantee anything. If the last few years has taught us anything, is that even senior level employees at huge companies can be laid off overnight. Instead, I will sit down with a blank sheet of paper and ask myself a few really important questions. I would ask what skills are becoming more valuable in today's economy. What skills will still matter 5 years from now, no matter how the world changes. And when you look around, the answers are clear. Skills like communication, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, adaptability, and AI literacy. These are the new currencies now. If you can communicate well, adapt quickly, lead others well with empathy, and understand how to use emerging technology, you will always have opportunities even when titles disappear. I recently came across a story on Instagram about a woman who suddenly lost her sales job unexpectedly. But because she has spent a few weekends learning about digital marketing skills, things like email marketing and running Facebook ads, she was able to land her first freelance client within just 3 weeks. She didn't have to wait for someone to hand her a new job title. She created her next opportunity through her skills. Now, once I've started building my skills, the next thing I will do without hesitation is to start building a personal brand. And no, I don't mean trying to become an influencer or chasing clout online. What I mean is becoming findable online. So in today's noisy world, opportunities don't always go to the most qualified person. They go to the person who always shows up. They go to the person who shows up, the person who shares their ideas, documents their learning journey, and make it easy for others to see their growth. If I had to restart, I'll start posting on LinkedIn once a week, even if it's just small reflection about what I'm learning. I'll write simple blog posts about the skills that I'm developing and the lessons I'm picking up along the way. And if I felt bored, maybe I'll post short videos on TikTok or YouTube just to share the process. I recently saw a guy on Twitter who started posting daily about what he was learning in AI. He wasn't a police expert, he was just sharing what he's learning and what he's figuring out step by step. And by the end of 1 month, recruiters were reaching out to him offering interviews. And this happened because he stopped hiding and started documenting his experience online. So while working on my skills and building a small personal brand, I would quietly start creating career safety nets for myself. This is because no matter how great your full-time job is, having only one source of income today is just too risky. Creating a safety net could mean freelancing a service that you're good at. It could mean offering consulting if you have a specialized knowledge. It could mean selling simple digital products like templates or mini courses based on your skills. Know that the point isn't for you to quit your job overnight. It's to build something on the side that you control, that you own. Something small that says I can create value outside of my employer. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you make $50 per month or 5,000. What matters and most important is that you're building your own bridge, a bridge to freedom in case the unexpected happens. And the last thing I will do, maybe the most important shift of all, is to start thinking of myself as a startup, not an employee. Startups know they have to learn, test, pivot, and grow constantly. They don't expect to get everything right the first time. They experiment, they iterate, and they adapt faster than the market around them. So I would take the same approach with my career. I wouldn't tie my identity to one job or one company or even one skill. I will keep learning aggressively. I will keep testing different projects, industries, and ways to grow. And if something stopped working, I wouldn't panic. I'll pivot. I saw a post on Facebook about a guy who's on his third career pivot in just 5 years. First, he was in hospitality, then COVID wiped that out. So he learned digital marketing, then AI disrupted that. So he pivoted again into prompt engineering. Each time he pivoted, he didn't see it as a failure. He saw it as growth. So if I were starting over today, I wouldn't be chasing titles. I wouldn't be waiting for companies to come and choose me. I wouldn't be clinging to one path. I'll be building real future-proof skills. I'll be making myself visible through small, consistent actions. I'll be building a quiet safety net that gave me freedom. And most importantly, I'll be treating myself like a living, breathing, constantly evolving startup that is always learning, always adapting, and always growing. If I could go back and restart my career from scratch, there is something I would treat with just as much as important as learning new skills, maybe even more, and that's building real relationships. Because here is the truth that nobody tells you when you're just starting out. When things go wrong, when you lose the job, when the market shifts, when you're not sure where to turn, it's not your resume that saves you. It's the people who believe in you. And I'm not talking about the fake kind of networking where you hand out the business cards you don't even care about. I'm talking about real, genuine relationships. The kind where people actually know who you are and want to help you succeed. I remember seeing a woman on LinkedIn who shared her story. She got laid off and applied to over 200 jobs, hundreds of applications and barely a handful of interviews. But then, someone she had worked with years ago, someone she had kept in touch with just casually, messaged her out of the blue. They had an opening in their new company and she had remembered how good she was, got her an interview. And a week later, she had a new job. And that's the reality now. You can send out thousands of resumes and get nowhere. Or you can have one real connection and everything changes. So if I were starting today, I wouldn't wait until I need something to start connecting with people. I'll start right away, right now when I have nothing to ask for. And I will keep it so simple. And I'll do it this way, reaching out just to say hi, just to show appreciation. So just to stay in touch without any hidden agenda. Then I will comment thoughtfully on people's posts. I will send someone a quick DM saying, "Hey, loved your insight on that topic. Thanks for sharing." I will congratulate people on their wins without expecting anything back. And here is something else I will do. I will look for ways to add value, even in small ways. Maybe that's sending someone an article that will help them, or maybe it's making an introduction between two people who should know each other, or maybe it's just showing up consistently, being positive energy in their world. Because what most people don't realize is that trust builds slowly. It builds through these tiny moments over time. Just the other day, I was reading a thread on Reddit about someone who got laid off suddenly, but because they had stayed in touch with an old co-worker, and it was nothing formal, just checking in every few months. When a new opportunity opened up, that co-worker thought of them first. So he didn't have to go through 10 rounds of interview. He didn't have to contend with 500 or 1,000 applicants because someone already knew them, already trusted them, and already believed they could do a good job. So if you're just getting started or you're trying to rebuild from scratch, yes, work on your skills, polish your resumes, but don't sleep on your relationships. Start reaching out today, start planting seeds now. Because when the storms come, as they always do, it's not your resume that catches you, it's the people who know your heart, who know your character, and are willing to bet on you. So if I had to rebuild my career from scratch, there's one more thing I'll absolutely focus on. And honestly, it could be one of the most powerful advantage you could give yourself today. I will make learning itself my number one skill. The truth is, the world isn't slowing down. It's speeding up. Industries are evolving faster than ever. Technology is rewriting job descriptions every 6 months. Entire fields are being born and as well disappearing in the time it used to take to finish a college degree. So if you can't adapt, the result is that you fall behind. But if you can learn new skills, pick up new tools, and reinvent yourself again and again, then you are unstoppable. I came across a story on TikTok the other day that really hit me. There was this woman that had been a marketing manager for years. And don't worry, I use so much examples from TikTok, Reddit, because they are real people's real-time experiences that I want you to learn from. So about this woman, when AI started to automate so much of the work she used to do, she realized that she could either panic or she could pivot. So she started learning everything she could about AI content tools. Not because someone told her to, not because she had to, but because she chose to. And within a few months, she wasn't just keeping up with the changes. She was ahead of them, and now she consults for companies, teaching them how to integrate AI into their marketing teams. And that was how she turned disruption into domination. And we can do the same. So if I had to start over, here's exactly how I will start treating learning. Not as a one-time thing, but as a daily habit. Just like your normal eating or breathing. And every day I'll set aside just 30 minutes to an hour. For you, it could be 15 to 30 minutes. It could be 5 to 10 minutes. Nothing overwhelming. It could be listening to podcasts on your way to work. It could even be watching one YouTube tutorial before bed. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a book in one day. Little by little, day by day, the knowledge starts up and it then compounds. So I'll be intentional about what I learn, not just random facts or entertainment, but skills that move me closer to the life that I actually want. I will pick one skill at a time, maybe public speaking, copywriting, coding basics, emotional intelligence, and go deep. and focus on what turns learning into real results. And most importantly, I wouldn't just consume information, I would use it. If I learn a new technique like automation, I'll try it that same week. If I picked up a new tool, I'll find a real project to try it on. Learning without action is just entertainment, but learning with action is transformation. So if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, if you're wondering how you ever catch up in a world that is moving too fast every day, the answer isn't to work harder. The answer is to become a learner, the kind of person who can pick up new skills, spot new opportunities, and adapt faster than the world can change. Because in a future filled with uncertainty, it's not the strongest who survive. It's not even the smartest. It's the ones who are willing to keep up learning, keep growing, and keep evolving again and again. So as I said, maybe right now you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you're starting your career and everything feels unstable. Maybe you're watching the news and you're hearing about layoffs, AI changes, economic uncertainty, and wondering, where do I even begin? I want you to know that you're not alone and you're not broken, you're not behind, and you're not a failure. You're just living through a time of massive transition. And if it feels heavy, that's because it is. But inside that chaos is also a rare opportunity. The opportunity to rebuild yourself, not based on outdated rules, not based on chasing empty titles, but based on real skills, real relationships, and real resilience. In this video, we walk through everything I would do if I had to start from scratch today. We talked about building skills first and not chasing job titles. We also talked about creating your own safety net instead of relying on one paycheck. We talked about being findable online, not to go viral, but to be findable, to let people see your growth. We talked about nurturing real human relationships long before you need them. And we talked about making learning your lifelong superpower. So I know it's tempting to feel powerless right now, to feel as if the economy controls your future or that companies decide your worth. Because no matter what's happening out there, you are still your own best asset. Your skills, your mind, and your ability to connect with others, your willingness to keep learning, keep adapting, and keep building. So if you're standing at the starting line today, or even at the rock bottom, I want you to lift your head up. I want you to remind yourself, you are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time. So step by step, skill by skill, connection by connection, we are building something economy cannot take away. So thank you for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in my next video.